So here we are inside Blender 2.92, and we're going to work on some 2D animation. So obviously we select 2D animation, and that gets us started. You can see we can already start drawing. I'm drawing with the mouse right now, but for what I'm doing, I actually want it to be full strength like that. Now I'm going to switch over to using XP Pen, the XP Pen 640, and when I do that, suddenly it's pressure sensitive again. To fix that, all I have to do is click here and here. You can hover over those and see what they do. And now I'm drawing full strength. I'm going to do a couple of undos, Control Z, to get rid of all of that stuff. And now I'm ready to draw. Okay, one more Control Z. First, what I'd like to do though is load a photo into the background. And to do that, what we'll do is hit the object mode button, and we'll go add image background, and I'll go to downloads, and there we go. I've got my picture. Going to zoom out a little bit, just the middle scroll wheel on the mouse. If I click, I can drag this, make it a little bit smaller, click in the middle, and position it wherever I want to position it. The other thing that I'm going to want to do with this is maybe just set it so that it's not quite so so apparent. I want it to fade a little bit. And here's the opacity button, and I've clicked over here on the object data properties. But if I drop the opacity, nothing happens until I click the opacity button. And I don't want it too light. Maybe about, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is scroll in with the middle mouse wheel again, or the mouse wheel. Then I'm going to hold down the shift button and press the middle mouse wheel. So pressing the middle mouse wheel while holding with my left hand the shift button. So again, shift button left hand, press the middle mouse wheel, and move the mouse, and you can reposition the object. Very, very handy. What that allows me to do is zoom in and just on just one area. Okay, I haven't done much, but I'm going to save this. Control S, and let's go. I'm going to make a folder. I'll go to Documents, click a new folder, call it Blender. Go into Blender, and I'll call this Draw 1. Hit enter twice, and we're good to go. Okay, so hopefully, oh, actually, interestingly, if I try to go back into draw mode, I can't. And the problem is, right now, I'm on that the image. I need to click on stroke over here to make that layer active, and then I can go into draw mode. I should be good now, yeah, and I'll hit Control Z. By the way, I can change the thickness of that line if I want to, although I think that's actually pretty good. All I would do is change the radius up here, and you can see I could make it thinner or thicker. And I'm going to go back to maybe about 18 or so is pretty good. All right, I'm going to start drawing. I'm not going to draw the whole thing. I'm just going to draw a couple things to for demonstration purposes. And let me just get my drawing tablet arranged here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. See, I've kind of missed things a bit, but that's okay. Okay. The most important thing is that all the lines connect up though, because they need to connect up so that when we close areas in, when we color areas, we just want to make sure that that we don't get bleeding into areas where we shouldn't have color. Okay, I'll finish that off. And again, doesn't need to look perfect. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that's going to be enough for now. And there's actually a couple of ways to draw here. What I'll do is show you this. We've got, if I select fills, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the draw tools. And I'm going to select vertex color so we can actually draw with some color. And if I were to drag this over to blue now and start drawing, we'd actually be able to draw in blue. I'm going to undo that, Control Z, but it does allow us to change the color quite nicely. The other thing we might want to do though is we might want to actually fill something in. So I'm going to click Solid Fill. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch down to the fills layer here. So when I'm doing fills, I like to work in a fills layer. And what I'll do now is go over here and make sure I've got the color that I want selected. Yeah, I do. And then I go to the bucket fill and watch the color. Okay, the color shifted. That's okay. We'll just move it back to blue. And we want to match roughly the blue of the hat. We click inside there and we've got blue. We need black here. To get black is easy. We can actually just reverse these. Click there. Or, sorry, we just drop this down. There we go. We got black. Click in here to fill. This should be filled. And this should be filled as well too. And you can see the white line's gone. That's okay. Hopefully you'll be a little more picky. Now if you notice these lines are really not very well drawn, one of the things I should have done was go back into draw mode. So again we have to go, yeah, okay, so we're in draw mode. But what we need to do is go solid stroke. There we go. So fills stroke. And remember, we want to go to lines. We want to go to that lines layer. And we need a color selected. Okay, let's select blue. And what else have I done here? We're on bucket fill. There we go. Lots of little things. Okay, and yeah, I want to draw with black. So I hit Control Z to undo that. And we're back drawing with black again. Okay, well that's good. But what I should have done was gone up here to stroke and set the smooth to, I don't know, maybe 1. Let's see, that's probably going to be better already. And perhaps I'll undo that. Sometimes I like to set the iterations to, say, 2. Okay, so I'm going to try drawing just a little bit more now. I'm going to maybe go Shift, middle mouse, move it up a little bit. Oh, we got a frame that got drawn there somehow. Not sure what I did there. Okay, anyway, I can zoom in a little more if I want. And now I should be drawing a whole lot straighter, I hope. Yeah, see how it's correcting those lines quite nicely. Or somewhat better anyway. Actually, I'm doing not a bad job on these. And that one went a little bit over. We're going to have to do some erasing there. Okay, so we can fix these lines up. I'm going to zoom right in, and I want to get rid of that. So we can just use the eraser here. And if you notice, the eraser is actually not, it's a soft eraser. Okay, so what we want to do is go like, we want to get rid of, we want it to be a point. And now, yeah, now it's just chewing right through anything it hits. That's how I want this to work. And we can also change the radius. All we do is hit the F key and we can drag, and that'll get rid of a large area. I don't want to do that though. I'll Control Z, undo that. If I hit F again, I can bring this in and make it smaller. And now I've got a little more control over what I erase. Okay, let's go back to the drawing tool, and I can just fill these in. I didn't do much of a better job, but that's okay. The other thing too is we can also edit these lines after the fact. So let's just do that. Let's go into sculpt mode. And from sculpt mode, what I can do is if I drag over top of this line, it should be smoothing it. If I use this, I can pull or push it. And I'm going to undo that. I want to pull the whole thing down so it's more on the line that it's supposed to be. I hit F once again. I'll make the area of influence larger. Okay, and now when I pull this, look what it's doing. It's actually pulling that line down, and I can pull this one as well and get that lined up where it's supposed to be. Okay, and again, yeah, that looks much better. Now we don't want to get too picky here, but it's amazing how the right tool with the right size of influence can really make these lines just about perfect. You have to make that a little bit smaller. But we can really get this thing fine-tuned nicely. And don't forget, we can also smooth these lines. So, okay, so I did a bad job on that, but let's see what happens if I smooth this. Look at that, just round it off almost perfectly. Okay. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I think I've covered just about everything other than that line, which I'm really not sure how that thing appeared. But next thing we want to do is save this, of course. And I think I already did that once. Yeah, draw one.blend. And then maybe we want to make a little animation out of this. And so let's assume that we finished the whole thing off. Oh, we probably want to hide the background. And we just click the eye up here, and that hides it. And then what we'll do is we'll go into, let's go to object mode. And I'll hit the A twice, deselect everything. And then I'm going to go over here to the wrench. And on that wrench, that's our modifiers. I'm going to add a modifier for build. And I'll say how many frames. Yeah, 100 seems fine to me. I'm also going to go to the output here. And how many frames do I want this animation to be? It's set to 250 by default. I set my end frame to 100. And you can see how that changed down here. Now if I hit the space bar, oops, or if I just hit the play button instead of the space bar, we'll see the thing actually start to take shape. Along with those lines that are true, which is interesting. Okay, you get the idea. If we want to save this thing as an animation now, so we should save it again. We can save it again if we want to. By the way, I might want to go back and work on this and not have that modifier, so I can just click the X button and it's gone. The other thing we might want to do though is actually save that animation. And so we'll add it in quickly again. Hit the build button. 100 frames is good. Okay, we've got our animation. Whoops, we can click the play button. Usually the spacebar works. We've got this all set. I can just click on the 100th frame so we see what it looks like. And now what I'm going to do is click the output here. 1920 by 1080, that's good. That's our standard HD size. Let's see, we're going to start frame 1, go to frame 100, 24 frames per second. That's perfectly fine. We're going to set our output folder, and that's going to be D drive. Let's see, actually D drive, I'm going to make a folder and just call it Blender. Select that folder, and PNG, I don't want it to be a PNG. Actually, what we want to do is want to make, say, an AVI JPEG perhaps. Metadata here, no, I don't think we need that. Post-processing. Maybe we should go FF, there we go, encode, that's what we want. FFmpeg, then we go encoding. H.264, medium quality is good. This is all good. Okay, everything looks fine, and no audio. All right, looks good to me. Let's give this a try. We'll accept this, make sure our settings stayed, and then we go up here to render. And actually we can go here, render, and we're going to render an animation. And it shouldn't take too long to do this. Okay, I think we're, oh, not quite done. It's trying that box again. That's very irritating. I'm going to have to go back and watch this video to see what I did there. Okay, I think we're done. So what I'll do is minimize this, and I'm going to go to have a look at this and see if it's working. We'll go this PC, D drive, Blender, and we should be able to hopefully play this back. And there we go, we've got it. And that looks pretty good. All right, that's it, over and out.